Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Cocktails and Rocktails with me, Notorious Groupie, Allison Rouse, also author of this, blah, blah, blah. We've got tonight The Life and Times of Notorious Groupie and these 3 other mini books. Go buy the mini books, you guys, because if you read them for free, I only get paid a quarter of a penny. So, go buy them. They're cheap, they're fun, and I'm thinking of a couple more that may go with that series. So, check it out. Everything you need to know for my merchandise. Everything down in the description, all the links, and the drink of the day. And you guys, as I always like to start out our days, thank you so much for all the love, all the support, all the great ideas, the fun, the conversations, the friendships I'm forming. You guys are awesome. Can't even tell you thank you so much every time. And what's this? Things are different behind me. Yes, they are, because I've moved out to my sitting room. Out from the guest bedroom, trying a few things, have a new ring light, so gonna be doing some awesome different locations around my house from now on. Who knows what else is gonna change? Lots of cool stuff, you guys. And talking about cool stuff, guess what? You guys in Metallica have been pretty fucking cool, and I've had a lot of questions, so I'm going to do a topic on Metallica today to say thank you to all the cool ass Metallica fans. You guys rock. So, and we're going to talk about a couple things. A couple of questions I have had repeatedly is, did the Tub Tarts really actually exist? Yes, they did. We'll talk a little bit more about that today. But the main topic is we are going to talk about how they hazed in Jason to the band, because a lot of people think it's like mean and crazy and stuff, and it really wasn't. It was just kids being kids, really, because when you think about it, the guys were all in their 20s. And today's cocktail, you guys, is going to be the Hazy Jane, because, you know, hazing. And I'm kind of trepidatious to try this one because it's got yogurt in it, plain yogurt, but give it a go, you guys. So everybody get hazy, kick up your feet, and let's have a little cocktails and rocktails. Cheers, big ears. All right, let's give it a go. Not bad at all, really. Link to the recipe is down in the description. It's vodka, Orgeat, which is almond flavoring, but I used amaretto, which you could do. Plain yogurt and lemon. Pretty crazy, but pretty good, you guys. All right, so in today's topic, we're talking about the band hazing in Jason, mostly. We'll get to Tub Tarts in a minute, because you guys got to realize it was the 80s. The guys were in their 20s. Marriages were ending. Relationships were over, because the only person not married in the band at the time was James. He had not met Francesca yet, and he was not married. The other 3 guys were coming to the end of their marriages, so it was kind of a crazy time. And Metallica was still this cool-ass indie thrash band, but becoming the biggest band in the world. That And Justice tour was huge. It was a big swing in the pendulum for them. I mean, the biggest swing was obviously when Cliff died, and they had to find the new bass player, which was Jason. Oh, sorry, you guys know me and my fucking hair. But anyway, it was Jason, and just like this happens with all the bands, you know, you play jokes on each other. When you're on the road, you are so fucking bored, because everybody complains that my book is so monotonous. Well, that's life on the road. It's just all there is to it. It's so boring, it's so monotonous that you gotta break it up with some crazy teenage college kid bullshit, and that's what we were doing. And I say we because, yes, me and Danny were kind of involved in the hazing in a slight little bit of way. But, you know, coming from the guys, it showed that they loved Jason, but, you know, you've got to get through the chops to go on the road with someone like Metallica in the 80s. Yeah, you've got to figure shit out. So anyway, one of the things that they used to do was, I mean, when it was Metallica for the whole And Justice tour, every time we walked into the bar, that first drink, and possibly some others, was always charged to Jason's room by everybody. on the tour. Everybody. The tour manager, the production manager, the road crew, the band, everybody's first drink, oh, charge it to this room, charge it to this room, charge it to this room. So by the time Jason checked out, he would have $1,000 or so in bar tabs. So that was kind of one way to haze him. Jason has talked about this himself rather fondly. And he understood back then because, like I said, everybody was young. They were in their 20s, early 20s. Like when I met James, he was 23. Think about yourself at 23. Think about what they do in colleges and stuff and how they kind of put everybody through the chops to get into the fraternity or the sorority or whatever. Not as crazy as it used to be, and we never went to those extremes with Jason. Like I said, we were telling him to eat the wasabi. It's just mint sauce. Don't worry, put a whole dollop on that sushi. And he would. And we would send he would always, when you're out on the road, you can always tell how many of the road crew and band, where they are, because all the do not disturb signs on the doorknobs. And this is something we still do to this day when we're bored and stuff, just to fuck around, to fuck off. And we would take off the do not disturb, because everybody, once you check in your room, you automatically put out that do not disturb, don't come in my room, we just hang in, leave us alone, do not disturb sign. So you're putting it in there, right? Well, we would go take off Jason's, and we would leave him wake up calls for like ungodly 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and we would leave him for every hour for like 6 hours. And send, hotel maids up there, because we'd call and be like, yeah, I just left my friend's room. He's had a spill. Something's wrong with his phone. Could you please come up to my room? And bang, 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 here would come the hotel, and Jason's in the shower. Doesn't even know that they're in there cleaning his room. So here comes Jason, just stark naked, wandering out the shower into the maids. And we would send him crazy groupies, just the ultimate crazy, oh my God, she's going to try and get knocked up by, we would send groupies into his room, more like the back lounge Betties. We would send into his room, drop him off, kick him out naked, just scan, he'd be, whoa, and it was never anything really crazy over the line. There was no physical hurting, nothing like that, or we would leave him at the hotel and already go out to general aviation. We tell him lobby call was 11 when it was really 10. And we'd just leave him and go to general aviation, wait for him at the plane till he got a clue that, oh, fuck, they did it again. But he kept falling for it. So like I said, you guys, it wasn't really crazy, stupid stuff. It was just hazing. And not hazing in the sense of making him drink tons of alcohol or doing something that would physically or mentally harm him. No. Okay, so yeah, leaving him in a couple cities might have meant a lot, like Denver, before they came to Salt Lake, or stuff like that. And it was just normal, typical on the road type of stuff. I mean, like I said, back then you don't have the internet, you didn't have anything, and we're just a bunch of people out on the road, bored as fuck in our monotonous day. So this is how it broke up. And when you join a band, this was kind of the thing that everybody did. But he got nice things too. We sent him good groupies, a couple at a time, a few times, and he was in such a good mood the next morning, he didn't mind paying the $1,500 bar tab. So you guys, yeah, Jason was kind of initiated into the band, the hazing, whatever you want to call it. Just kind of stupid, like I said, crazy, stupid stuff. We would tell him there'd be 2 shows. We added an extra show when there wasn't, and then he'd have to get his way back to the next city, jump on the crew bus and stuff. And they even left him at the Little America in Wyoming. If you're in rock and roll, you know what the Little America truck stop is. In fact, that's going to be one of my next mini books. It's kind of a rock and roll glossary. Like FOH, Little America, this, that, different things. So tell me what you think about that down below in the comments. And like I said, Hazing and Jason was just a bunch of kids. Because like I said, you guys have to realize they were in their early 20s. I think, when was that? So I was 16, James is 23 when we met. So they were 24, 25 when they were doing this. And this is the Injustice tour and the Black tour. By the time the Black tour hit, the hazing had kind of stopped. Jason was officially part of the band, officially part of Metallica, which, they threw a big thing and probably walked out and made him pay the bill. So like I said, it was just silly stuff like that. Nothing that was harmful or anything like that. So you guys don't think bad. I mean, Metallica fans kind of tend to go into rabbit holes and make spirals in their own minds, So you guys back off, get off the internet, quit posting nothing but James Hetfield photos every day on your Insta. There's more to life. Trust me. And the second part of this, we're going to talk about the Tub Tarts, because people want to look down on the band for this. People sit there and they exalt rock stars for sex, drugs, rock and roll, groupies. Yeah, that's the way it's supposed to be. We wouldn't love you any other way. Right? But then, when they get caught doing something that would be, just a little indulgent or gratification that only rock stars can do, they're condemned for it. So don't condemn the boys for the Tub Tarts. These women were all willing. They were ID'd. They were in the shower waiting to just wash them down. And that's all they really did, as far as I know. I mean, maybe a couple times things happened beyond scrubby dubby dubby and, maybe a little washing around the taint. That's got to get cleaned. Got to get them ready. Anyway, so yeah, Tub Tarts did happen, but it wasn't, again, anything that was, the girls did not know, because, it was the 80s, and we were very much straightforward and no bullshit. Hey, do you want to come backstage and do, the roadies would go out and look for these girls. And this was the thing that happened at every tour. Every tour back in the 80s, the roadies would get bonuses for bringing the rock stars the best girls. So you would have certain roadies, like their tour manager, like their assistant, production assistant, stuff like that. People who weren't busy during the show or whatever, go out and find girls. And there were specific passes that said Tub Tarts. So they knew that these girls would go straight to the dressing room and then straight back to their cars after they were done. Unless one of the boys wanted them, but usually the Tub Tarts, because there's 2 or 3 girls to each guy that was scrubbing him down. Okay, James does like his threesomes back then, but they're not exactly the girls you want to take back to your hotel room, so to speak. The girls you allow into that private sanctuary are the girls you actually like, you have connection with, that you trust, but they're not the Tub Tart girls. The Tub Tarts are back lounge Betties, they're girls that you just sort of hang out with, fuck around with, don't even kiss and say goodbye. But like I said, these girls, there was no bullshit made to these girls, to these women, and they were all ID'd. Everybody was willing, because that was the 80s. Women were owning their sexuality, even if it meant being part of a group situation, because fuck yeah, we could do it, and why not? You know what? If the guys can do it, so can us women. And that was the attitude everybody had back then when doing Tub Tarts. I never did it because that wasn't my relationship with the band. I wasn't just, wham bam, thank you ma'am type of thing. It was actually kept far away from us. We found out because our friend Shara was one of Kirk's Tub Tarts in Salt Lake City one night. So don't condemn the guys. Like I said, everybody wants to see the rock stars as these wild, crazy guys, sex, drugs, rock and roll, living the life, the groupies, the partying, the fun. But then when they actually hear about it, you condemn them. So don't condemn the band, you guys. They were just young guys in their 20s being crazy, being stupid in a world that was being thrust at them at 100 miles an hour. 100 miles a second. That's how fast the rock world. I grew up so fast in the rock world. By the time I was 18, I felt like I was 40 mentally. Didn't look that physically, but I felt like I was so much older mentally. And the guys kind of are allowed to get away with more. And everybody was a willing participant. Jason did things back, hid guitars, stuff like that. Sent a big, huge maid into someone's room one time. Lars was not happy about that. So it was all in fun and games, camaraderie. Nobody was getting hurt. Everybody was consenting. It was all cool, you guys. So before you think, oh my god, I heard they were so mean to Jason, and oh my god, what horrible people they were for fucking with the Tub Tarts, and how dare they do that to their wives. None of the guys were married at the time. They were separated or getting divorced, or James hadn't even met Fran. By the time the Black Tour happened, and they met second wives, first wife, whatever, that had mellowed out. It was really kind of an injustice. I mean, don't get me wrong, there were still parties and groupies and sex, drugs, and rock and roll on the Black Tour, but the hazing of Jason was gone. The Tub Tarts, they were too big for that. They didn't want all those strange horrors. No, no, no. So don't condemn the boys. They're being rock stars in the 80s. That's what you did. And it was a blast. Except when we found out about the Tub Tarts. That wasn't so damn fun. But James and Shara did say that night, James and Lars went without the Tub Tarts. They rejected them because, you know, Danny and I were there. So there was lines you don't cross, but we'll talk about that in another video. We're going to talk about the road rules, because there are rules to the road for the rock stars and the groupies. To all this no strings attached, there's plenty of rules, guys. All right, so there you go. There's all there is. No big deal. No brouhahas. Don't be making a big stink about it and how cruel they were to Jason or what assholes they were for having Tub Tarts. Don't. It was just guys being guys in the 80s, being in their 20s. The women were being women. They wanted to be there. They chose to be there. They knew what they were walking into. Nobody was forced or coerced or anything like that. It was all in fun. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll, right? Alright, guys. Thank you again for tuning in. Do not forget, everything's down in the description. Buy the mini books. Go ahead and read my other one for free, because I do make about $4 every time you read this book for free. Yeah. So please, please, please just buy the mini ones. And like I said, I think I've got 2 more books to add to that series. So stay tuned, you guys. All right. Thank you again, everybody, for all the love, all the awesome support. You guys fucking rock. I can't even tell you how much I love y'all. Cheers, big ears. Oh, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit that share button. Spread me like I spread my legs in the 80s. And don't forget to hit my bells, and we'll see you next time on Cocktails and Rocktails. Cheers.